So hi everyone, here we are going to study about the two programs in the Python. The first one is the finding the exponentiation of a given number, and the second one is to find the maximum number or the largest number from a given list of numbers. Okay, so first we need to understand the algorithm that is there behind this particular program, that is to find the exponentiation of a given number. Okay, so if you see the algorithm that is there behind this particular program is known as the recursive algorithm. Okay, so this is the algorithm that is there. So recursive power calculation or the recursive algorithm is the one that we are actually going to use to find the exponentiation of a given program. Okay, so what is this basically? So in any mathematical terms, basically it involves repeatedly multiplying the base with the base itself by reducing its exponentiation value. Okay, so for example, I have 2 to the power 3. So every time I multiply, I will be reducing the value of the exponent by 1. So first time it is 2 into that is 2 comma 3, second one 2 comma 2, third time it is 2 comma 1, and finally there we stop it because 2 to the power 1 is 2 itself. Okay, so that is how this basically recursive algorithm works. Okay, so the first thing that you do in a recursive algorithm is that you check if the exponent is equal to 1. Okay, why? Because if your exponent, that for example 2 to the power 1 is nothing but 2 itself. Okay, so that is why it is very much important to check if the exponent value is equal to 1 or not. If it is true, then return to the base. What is your base? 2 is your base, so this is your answer. Okay, but if there is a case, and most of the cases actually, where the exponent value is not 1, because if the exponent value is 1, then that doesn't serve the purpose. Okay, so 2 to the power 1, if you are trying to find out the power of 2 to the power 1, it is 2 only. Okay, so you are going to find out the power of any number when there is a certain exponent value other than 1, like 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 25, like that. Okay, so second time what you do is, in the recursive case, you are going to check if the exponent value is greater than 1. And if the exponent value is greater than 1, then what you do, you call a function called as power. Okay, and then what you do, you start with your calculation by reducing the exponent value with each iteration. Okay, I will explain this with an example, but this is just the procedure how a basically recursive algorithm works. And then multiply the base by the result of the recursive call. Okay, so next thing is you continue this process until the base case is reached, means until the base value, that is 2 to the power 1 is reached. You continue with this process like 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 1, and that's all. It is done. That's where you stop, because 2 to the power 1 you reach the base value itself. Okay, so that is why it is said until the base case is reached. And then what you do, the final result is obtained by multiplying all the base values that you have accumulated in the iteration. Okay, so finally this recursive power calculation provides you with an elegant and efficient way of finding the exponentiation in any case, and showcases the power of recursion. Okay, and another biggest advantage or the biggest use is that this particular algorithm, that is recursive algorithm, is mainly used in programming languages like Python, okay, to handle the exponentiation in a concise and clear manner. Okay, now this is just the explanation of the algorithm that we are actually using. Okay, now we are going to see step by step how this algorithm works. Okay, so first thing is you need to define a function named power in your program. And then what does it do? It basically takes two parameters, that is base and the exponent. Okay, once this is done, this input is given, then what it will do, it will check if your exponent is equal to 1. Okay, so if you have given 2 to the power 3 or 3 to the power 3, then it will check the exponent, the value 3, is equal to 1 or not. If your input is like 3 to the power 1, then the exponent value is 1, then your base will return. So 3 is your answer. But if your answer is 3 to the power 3 and it says that exponent is not equal to 1, then calculate the power recursively by multiplying the base with the result of the power function. Okay, how? It is called by the parameter of base and exponent minus 1. So that is what I said. Each time you do the iteration, you subtract the exponent by minus 1 or you reduce it by 1. Second, outside the function you're taking the input for the base and the exponential value, and finally you call the power function and that prints the your output. Okay, now this is step by step explanation of the algorithm. Okay, now we are going to see step by step explanation of the code. So same as I said earlier, you are going to use a special function known as power. Then again next you are going to check if your exponent is equal to 1 or not. Okay, if it is greater than 1, then your program will keep calling itself, okay, but with slightly a smaller exponent every time. Okay, now this will go on until it reaches the base value. Second, now before doing any of the further calculation, the programmer asks you for a base number and exponent. So this is the input from the user. Okay, then once you give this particular input, it will go for a recursive calculation in the loop. Okay, in that it will check one after the other. So this is the final calculation process, but for a better understanding I have used an example also. So here is the example. Suppose your user inputs are base is equal to 2 and exponent is equal to 3. That is what? Power of 2 raised to the, that is power of 2 raised to the power 3. That is 2 to the power 3. Now how the recursion will work? First you call for power 2 comma 3. Okay. What will happen? This calls for 2 into power of 2 into 2. Why? Because 3 minus 1 is 2. So you are reducing the exponent by one value. Next you will call for power 2 comma 2. Now again what will happen? It will be 2 into power of 2 minus 1. Why? Because exponent is reduced by one value. Okay. Next you call for power of 2 comma 1. Now what will happen? It will return to the base case because 1 minus 1 is 0. So there is nothing in the exponent value. So base value as returned. Now what you do, whatever base value you have accumulated till now, you will multiply it. So 2 into 2 into 2. So it is 8. So that is your final answer for 2 to the power 3. So this is how basically this particular algorithm will work. Now we will go for the explanation of the next algorithm, that is to find the maximum number from a given list of number. Okay, then we will see the execution part in the Python window. So Python program to find the maximum from a list of numbers. Now you see here, first you need to create an empty list. So what you have done, you are creating an empty list named 1. Now when this is done, you are not going to give any number or any list of number into this. You are just creating an empty list. Then you are creating an upper limit. What is this upper limit? Upper limit is the total count of numbers that you will enter. Now like I have 8 numbers. In that I want the largest number. So your upper limit will be 8. Okay, now what you do, you go for a loop and try to enter each number one after the other. Then there is a variable defined by maximum number, MAXNO. Now what this will do, every time you enter a number, like first number, you have given your upper limit as 8. Now what you will do, you can enter up to 8 numbers. Okay, so first number you have entered it as 1. Now this one will be stored in the maximum number. Next you enter it as 2. Now this 2 will check if it is greater than 1. If it is greater, then this 2 will be stored in maximum number. Like that, each time you enter the number until your 8 numbers have reached, 8 entries have reached, it will check if each number is greater than the current maximum number. If it is greater, then that number will be stored. If not, then the earlier number will only be there in the maximum number. Once you are done with 8 entries, whatever the last highest number is there in the maximum number, that will output, that will print at the output as the largest number. So what will happen? It will go through each number in the list and compare with the current maximum number. If the current maximum number is larger, it will be updated in the maximum number to that number. Okay, then checking all the numbers, it will print out the maximum number from the list. Now this is the example. So let's say my upper limit I have set it as 3, means I can enter up to 3 numbers. So first number I will enter, let it say as 7. Now 7 will be stored in the maximum number. Next I will enter 12. Now what will happen? It will check if this 12 is greater than 7. If it is greater than 7, then what will happen? 12 will be stored in the maximum number. Then my last entry, because I have given it as 3, 1, 2 and 3. So third number is 5. It will check if 5 is greater than 12. No, 5 is not greater than. So what will happen? 12 will be printed as my largest number. So this is how basically this algorithm actually works. Now what will we do is, we'll go for the coding part and see there function by function, each line by line, what is the meaning of each line and how does the execution happens. Okay, this is the algorithm also I have explained here. So first you do is, you create an empty list, you initialize the variable. So there are two variables. First is empty list, then you give the upper limit as n. So here you will give the upper limit, how many numbers you are going to enter. Okay, 8, 5, 10, any number means if you give 10, you have to give 10 entries, means 10 numbers you have to feed into that. Okay, then you create a loop wherein which each number I from 1 till n, it will keep on checking if it is greater than the maximum number or not. Okay, if it is greater than the maximum number, then that number will be updated to the maximum number. Okay, so set the maximum number to the first element. Whatever first number you enter in the list, that will be stored in the maximum number. For each element number in the list 1, if that number is greater than maximum number, then update the maximum number with that number. So that is what I said. First you will give 1. 1 will be get stored in the maximum number. Second you will give 2. So if 2 is greater than 1, 2 will be stored in the maximum number. Then what will you do? Once your number is reached, that is upper limit, 10 numbers is reached, whatever number, current number is there in the maximum number, that will be printed as the largest number and it will end the program or exit the loop. Okay, so this is how basically the second program, that is the finding the maximum number from a given list of the number, works. So first one is your recursive algorithm. There what you are basically doing is, you are basically doing the recursive calculation. So we will take an example, 2 to the power 3. There what is happening? You are going that is reducing the exponent, 3, 2, 1. So first is 2 comma 3. So then next is 2 comma 2. Then next is 2 comma 1. You are stopping there because 2 to the power 1 is 2. So you will stop there. Now what and all bases is there? How many times you have done iteration? 3 times. So what are the bases for the 3 times? It is same 2. So 2 into 2 into 2, 3 times your output is 8. That's all done. Second thing is the finding the maximum number. First what you are creating an empty list by the name 1. Nothing is there in that list. Next you are giving a variable, input variable as n. There you will input the upper limit. What is this upper limit? Upper limit is the number of entries you can make. If I give 10, I can enter 10 numbers. Then what will happen? You will enter the first number. Okay, so whatever may be the value of first number, that will be stored as a current value in the maximum number. Then you will enter the second number. This second number will check if it is greater than the current number in the maximum number. If it is greater, then that value gets updated in the maximum number. Okay, then it will keep on checking till 10 entries has reached. Why? You have given the upper limit as 10. Once 10 entries reaches, at the end of 10 entry, what is the maximum number that is there? That will be your largest number. So that is how these two programs work. Now we will see how does the execution of the code happens. Okay, so we will see how this particular basically code actually works. Okay, so just give me a minute. Here I have the first program. Okay, so I hope this is clearly visible. So what is the first step is, I clearly told you will be defining a function called as power, base comma exponent. Okay, so after that you have defined it, it will check if the exponent value is equal to 1. Now what is this equal to? This is an operator. Okay, so it is checking if it is equal to 1. This is not an assignment operator. Assignment operator means what? Exponent is equal to 1 means you are directly giving exponent value as 1. No, you are checking. That is why equal to 1. means if exponential value is equal to 1 or not. If it is equal to 1, then you have given a condition as return to base. For example, if it is 2 to the power 1 and exponential value is 1, then your output itself is 2. Why? Because 2 to the power 1 is 2. So that is why this particular statement is given return to the base. Now that is not in most of the cases. Whenever you are finding a power, any number will be there in the exponent. Okay, there is no point in finding the power of 2 to the power 1. We all know that 2 to the power is 2, 5 to the power 1 is 5, and 6 to the power 1 is 6. We want the power when any exponent value is given other than 1. Okay, so now next it will check if exponent is not equal to 1. 100% it will not be equal to 1. Then you use this formula, that is return base into power, okay, open the parenthesis, base comma exponent minus 1. So here what I said, with each iteration you are reducing the exponential value by 1. Then you give the input variable for base, and I am already telling whatever the input I give, I am converting it to the integer format. That is why in int input enter the base value, int input enter the exponential value. Then what is my result? Result is equal to power of base comma exponent. Okay, then it will print my result. Okay, so this is how basically my program for the exponentiation works. Now we will run this program and see what is the output. So enter the base. I will give the base as 3. Okay, now I will give the exponentiation value as 1. You see the output will be 3 itself. Why? Exponential value is 1. So if you see here, it will check here itself, exponential value is equal to 1 or not. If yes, return the base. What is your base? Your base is 3. So that is your result. Okay, now we will again run the program and check with another number. Now I will give the base as 3. Then I will give the exponential value as 2 and check. 9. So 3 into 3 is 9. So here what it did, it checked if the exponential value is equal to 1. No. If it is not equal to 1, then it will go to this formula. So here 2 steps it will work. Okay, 3 comma 3. Okay, that is 3 comma 2 and 3 comma 1. So how many bases? 2 times. That is 2 iteration has happened. So 3 into 3 is 9. Okay, so that is how you get the output here. Okay, so this is the output 9. Okay, so here also same. So first thing is 3 and 2. So 3 comma 2 first iteration. Second iteration reduce the exponential value by 1. So 3 comma 1. That is where you stop. So how many iterations? 2. What are the base values? 3, 3. So 3 into 3 is 9. Your output is done. Okay, now we will go for the second program, that is to find the maximum number. Okay, please pay attention here. Here I have given the comment for each and every line of the code that I have typed here. So you see the first one is I am creating an empty list here. Nothing is there, you see, nothing. Square bracket is completely empty. So this is what I am doing here. I am creating an empty list. Okay, what will happen here? Here I will store the numbers provided by the user. Means whenever I give any number as the input, that will be stored in that particular list. Then I am giving n is equal to again integer. I am telling that whatever number I am entering, it should be converted to integer. Okay, so I'm already telling it is an integer. Okay, then input the upper limit. So here if I give 10, means I can give up to 10 values I can give. I will show in the output when I run this program. Then next what I am creating a for loop for I in the range of 0 to n. What is n? N is the upper limit. So if I have given 10, it is 0 to 10 values it will keep on checking. Okay, so here a is equal to input enter the number. So up till 10 times I can keep on entering. That is why this loop is there. Once I have entered 10 values, it will exit this particular loop. It will exit this particular loop. And every time I am actually giving the number, it is getting stored in this maximum number. That is why 1 open bracket 0 is there. Okay, so any time I enter here, for example 1, if I enter, this 1 will be stored in the maximum number. Then what will happen? Then I will enter 2. This 2 will verify this with maximum number. If this is greater than earlier number or not. Okay, so that is how it basically works here. Then I am giving a for I in the range of 0 till length. What is the length of L? That length of 1, that is the list that I have created. Till that, if I, the current value in the list, if it is greater than the maximum number, whatever the first number is stored in this, if it is greater, then the maximum number is equal to the current number that is there in the list. That will be your output. Okay, so print the maximum number. Okay, that is percentage D. Okay, so now we are going to run this program and check how will this work. So here enter the upper limit. Okay, for time constraint I will consider 7. So up till 7 entries I can make. Please clearly concentrate here. Now you see the first number I will give 1. I will enter. Now this one is there, right? This one is already stored in this maximum number here. Okay, it is already stored now here. Next I will give 2. Now it will check if this particular 2, whatever is there in the current list, I stands for current number in the list, if that is greater than maximum number. If it is yes, means it will be stored in this particular maximum number. It is greater, 2 is greater than 1. So maximum number value will be updated to what? 2. Next I will give 3. So 3 is greater than 2, 3 will be stored in maximum number. Next again I will give 1. Okay, so 1 is less than 3, so 3 will only be there in the maximum number. So how many entries over? 4 entries over, 3 remaining. I will give again 2. 2 is smaller than 3. Okay, so 3 will only be there. Okay, again I will give 1. So 1 is smaller than 3, 3 will only be there. How many values over? 6 values over. Now last value again I will give to 2. So 2 is smaller than 3, we all know that. So 3 will only be there. So you see the maximum number is 3. So this is how basically you find the maximum number from a given list of numbers. Okay, so this is how basically your program actually works. Okay, so here I have given the comment for each and every particular function that I have used here. Okay, so now we have studied about finding out the exponentiation of a given number. Then we have also studied about the maximum number from a given list of number. So let us go for a revision. So what is the concept behind the basically the exponentiation of a number? That is recursive algorithm. What is happening in the recursive algorithm? There is one base, there is one that is exponent. Now what is happening? It goes by the iteration method. So first what it will do, it will check if my exponent value is equal to 1 or not. If it is equal to 1, whatever the base is there, that will be my output. Okay, so let us see this program and try to realize this. So it will check if my base is equal to 1. If it is equal to 1, then return to base. The base value will be repeated. Okay, it means repeated means it is your answer, final answer. But most of the cases exponent value is not equal to 1. Okay, so whatever the exponent value is there, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is there, then what happens if it is not equal to 1, then it will start with the recursive process. What is recursive process? For example, 3 to the power 3. Then what it will do, as we studied in the example, it will start like 3 into 3, next 3 into 2. Why? Because exponent keeps on reducing by -1. You see here, exponent -1 means with each iteration you are reducing the exponent value. 3, 2, then 3, 1. You will stop there. Why? Because 3 to the power 1 is 3 itself, means you have reached the base value. Now how many iterations? 3 iterations. So 3 into 3 into 3. So that will be your answer. Okay, so that is how you do. Then what you are doing, you are defining 2 variables here, and you are already telling whatever is there, it is an integer value. Conversion is happening here. That is why you are given an integer here, integer input, and you are giving the base and the exponentiation value. And then finally you are defining my result should be equal to power of base comma exponent, and finally print result comma result. Why? Because this is the variable. You have to write this variable here to get the answer. Okay, so this is how your exponentiation function works. Now coming again back to the highest number in a given list of number. First you will define an empty list called as 1. Then you will define a variable n with an integer as an input to find the upper limit. What is this upper limit? Upper limit is 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever number you give, means that many entries you can make in the program. Then what will happen? You will give a range based on this upper limit. So 0 comma n means whatever upper limit you have given till that. So it means 7 I have given means 0 to 7 means that many times you can enter the number. So that is why you see a is equal to integer input of enter the number means 7 times you can enter the number. Then what happens? Whenever you enter the first element, okay, maximum number is initialized with the first element in the list. Whatever number you enter first number, that is after the upper limit, that will be stored in the maximum number. Once that happens, you run a loop for I. What is the range? 0 till the length of 1 means whatever length is there till that it will keep on checking. Now you have entered the numbers, right? In that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up till 7 numbers. Why? Because your upper limit is 7. Okay, so up till that many numbers it will check, that is the current list in the number. If it is greater than the maximum number that is stored in the first number, if it is greater means that will get stored in the maximum number, and at the end of the 7 number, whichever greater number is being stored in the maximum number, that will be your output. Okay, so this is how basically this maximum number program from a given list works. Okay, so here we have studied the basic algorithm, then the steps for each function, how it is executed with the example for both the programs, and we have also seen the output also. Okay, so here is the shell window. You can see first I gave an example of 3 and as the base, and then exponent as a 1. So I got the result as 3. Why? Because 3 to the power 1, it will check no exponent value is 1 or not. If it is 1, return to the base. So what is base? 3. It return to the base. That is my answer. Now 3 to the power 2. Okay, it will check if 2 is equal to exponent value is equal to 1. It is not equal to 1. It is 2. Then what will happen? Recursive process will start. So first is 3 comma 2. Second is 3 comma 1. There it will stop. So how many iteration? 2 iteration. 3 comma 3 is 9. That is the output. Now in the second program you have given the upper limit. This is that n is there, no? Here n. This you have given it as 7 means you can make 7 entries. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 entries you can make here. Now what will happen is that here once you enter the first number, this 1 you have entered, you can enter any number. Okay, not 1, 2, 3 or it should be inside 7. No, not like that. I can enter it as 89, 82, 83, any 7 numbers, random numbers I can enter. Okay, now that number, whatever first number I am entering, that will be stored here in this maximum number. Now what happens is then I will write an code or the for loop in the range from 0 till length of 1. What is the length of 1? That is this number 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. So this, in all this value, it will check if the current value in the I is greater than maximum number. What is the maximum number at the first time? It is 1 because you entered 1. Now here it will check 2 is greater than 1. Yes, it is greater than 1. So what will happen? Maximum number will store 2. Then next again in the loop it will check 3. If 3 is greater than 2, yes, means 3 will get stored in maximum number. Then again it will check if this particular 1 is greater than the maximum number. What is the maximum number now? It is 3. No, it is not greater than. So 3 will only be there. Next again it will check if 2 is greater than 3. No, 3 is only greater. So 3 will only be there. Again it will check if 1 is greater than this maximum number. No, it is not greater. So 3 will only be there in the maximum number value. Then again lastly 7th number it will check 2 is greater than 3. No. So what is the number? 3. So that will be your maximum number. So you see here the maximum number is 3. So that is how these both the program